Welcome back. Romania is one of the most dynamic emerging media markets in Europe, not necessarily by choice. When Romania joined the European Union 2 years ago, it had to play by the EU's rules, and that meant allowing the media to report freely. But like many of the former Soviet satellite states that we've reported on here at the Listening Post, Romania has found it difficult to shake off the communist legacy of media repression and state control. Recently, there have been signs that the country's journalists are once again being gagged by the authorities. The Listening Post's Meenakshi Ravi now on Romanian TV and the strange case of the plum brandy and sausage scandal.
The overthrow of Nicolae Ceausescu in December 1989 ended one of Europe's most feared dictatorships. But it took almost 20 years for Romania to improve its record on freedom of expression enough to meet the standards required for EU membership. After 2 years as a full EU member, there are fears that Romania is slipping back into old habits, with freedom of expression and the media under threat.
The outside world doesn't really care about Romania, let's face it. It's a small country far away about which we know little. That's what I think is the basic problem here.
In 2007, just after Romania's much-trumpeted accession to the EU, the main state television channel broke a sensational corruption story known as the Sausages and Plum Brandy scandal. It looked like a new era of robust journalism had begun.
We had a great story, and it was evidence that the Minister of Agriculture was taking bribes. He accepted a bribe consisting of 15,000 euros, promises of a car, 2 crates of sausages and a can of plum brandy in order to rig a public tender.
Rodica Culture's investigative team had secretly filmed the high-ranking minister taking bribes. They ran the footage on the main state television channel.
The following day the minister resigned. He refused to talk to us. The other guy who was intermediating the bribe accepted to talk to us, and he said that everything had been electronically falsified and it was not his voice but just some sort of electronic device that had imitated his voice.
It looked like the expose had hit its target. The report attracted high ratings as well.
We had a lot of footage. We couldn't show all of it on the first night, so we promised the viewers we would show a second part. So when we were preparing to show the second part, I got a paper, an official paper, from my boss, from the chairman of Romanian television, saying that it was illegal and immoral to show the second part, and that we shouldn't have shown the first part either.
What has happened to Rodica Culture in the public service broadcasting has happened to many other people, and I think we don't know many of these cases actually. Probably because some of these people didn't want to speak, didn't want to make it public because they wanted to keep their job. But what is happening there, it's absolutely unimaginable.
Culture decided she wouldn't keep quiet.
So what was I to do? In the end, after deliberations in the newsroom, I just went out on public TV, on the news program, and I apologized to the viewers. I showed them the paper I had got from my boss and said, we can't show you because our boss says we can't. And this is the paper that we got.
She was stripped of her editorial duties, and her team working on the 7 o'clock news was broken up and sent off to graveyard shifts.
I cannot do anything on TV, even though I used to do talk shows with very good ratings. But no TV will have me.
Rodica Culture's story shows how much has changed and how much has stayed the same in Romania. Following the collapse of communism, there was an explosion of print and broadcast media in the country. But it wasn't long before political and business leaders began to see the media as useful tools of personal rather than public interest. Many media outlets simply did not have the money to stay independent.
One of the main private channels in Romania, basically the government said, if you don't give us good coverage, we will harass you basically with the tax offices.
In 2004, the election of a new government brought hope that things would change. The Social Democrat Party that had ruled the country since 1990 lost power, and a new government promised less interference.
After the elections, when the newly elected president then, Traian Băsescu, he said that he would cut the red line, the direct line between the government's office and the director of the public service television.
But independence has proved difficult to maintain. key regulatory positions in the media have become bargaining chips during successive government crises.
There were a lot of trade-offs, again, between political parties in power and the political parties in the opposition. They traded off some positions in the national regulator with the position of the president of a public service broadcaster. So basically the media is extremely politicized in Romania. The whole media environment is extremely politicized, and I would say also corrupt.
Corruption and a lack of freedom of expression are concerns to European politicians. But how much of a concern is difficult to gauge. In this statement, the EU told us that the independence of public broadcasters from government is a key pillar of a pluralist landscape, and governments should avoid even the impression of influencing their program or their journalists. It goes on to say that developments like those observed after the sausages and plum brandy scandal will not lead to a positive assessment of the situation in the member state concerned. In the meantime, the situation for Romania's journalists remains depressingly familiar. Rodica Culture's forced climb down over her corruption story is only one of many examples, but at least the story got out.
Somehow the sequel got out, and it was on the internet and on all the other TV stations, because everybody picked it up. The papers, every TV station in the land picked up this story, and it was a tremendous success.
With voters split between the two main parties in the December 2008 election, Romania faces a new round of political horse trading. And once again, control of the media will be up for grabs. Exposing corruption in public life will remain challenging for the foreseeable future.
More Global Village Voices now on freedom of speech and Romania.
Now that crisis has come to Romania, advertising spendings will very likely decrease. And this kind of money fuels the media here too. The pace of the launching of new televisions and publications will certainly slow down, but as we say in Romanian, in every bad there's some good. Maybe the slowdown will help selecting the good outlets from the bad ones.
Many journalists in Romania receive additional income from advertisement contracts from companies that are associated with political parties. An arrangement that raises suspicions if not of corruption, then a list of journalistic biases. Also, the main media companies that own the majority of TV channels and newspapers are largely financed by only a handful of individuals who have an obvious interest in manipulating public opinion, and who have been accused in the past of having an outsized influence on the political and economic life of Romania.
Finally, the thing about the World Wide Web is that it can take a certain news event, say that Iraqi journalist hurling his shoes at a visiting American dignitary, and breathe new life into the story through satire. One of the best clips we've seen comes courtesy of a site called funnyordie.com. It examines some of the commercial opportunities created by the shoe thrower. It's all over the web, and we've made it our Internet Video of the Week. We'll see you next time at The Listening Post.
Zainab here from Zainab Shoes, Iraq's #1 discount footwear emporium. We have new Mephistos, now on sale for 149 dinar. This is only shoe, comfortable enough to wear all day and durable enough to throw at world leaders as ultimate gesture of disrespect. New Mephistos feature fine upper leathers that really say, this is a farewell kiss, you dog! Perfect for hurling at presidents, prime ministers, dictators, and statues of dictators. With convenient slip-on style, you'll have time to throw one shoe, bend down, take off other shoe, throw it before Secret Service even notice. This is perfect shoe to fling at world leaders moments before being wrestled to the ground and beaten mercilessly. We have shoes you can throw at anything that makes you mad. Mailboxes! Hats! Graffiti! The computer screen! That neighbor! Come to Zainab's for store-wide sale on all kinds of shoes for throwing, including pointy-heeled shoes, steel-toed shoes, curly genie shoes, and shoes with dynamite in them. Make a political statement and a fashion statement with shoes from Zainab's Discount Shoe Emporium, open 7 days a week till curfew.